My conservative, Trump-loving girlfriend is watching this with me today. Let's go. Let's fight.
This better be funny like the last one.
Yeah.
Dying, yeah, they're dying too. But dying potatoes.
Oh, instead of eggs. What we call that?
No.
Yeah.
Too expensive. It's a very big day at the White House. Trump is honoring the day by locking up guys named Jesus. And probably The Sixth Sense. He was the kid.
Oh, this guy, you heard about this?
He's all grown up and has some anger issues. They arrested him being intoxicated, and he yelled at the arresting officers, "You're a fucking Nazi, and you're a fucking kike." I see dead careers.
The little boy from The Sixth Sense. He got caught drunk skiing. He was drunk skiing. He's in a skiing resort.
Oh.
Yeah, and he was screaming all kind of crazy stuff to him.
Yeah.
It's said repeatedly, the infidel love life, and that's their weakness. And they say that because they, by contrast, what I call the death cults, they worship death. But look at the number of people who, for instance, when the Nova Party was attacked on the morning of October the 7th, and hundreds of young people just dancing in the early morning.
Because after World War II, the Europeans drew lines all over the Middle East. And that's where we just started the jihadists. That's what, they weren't really violent before that. They weren't terrorists and none of that.
Could have been, if those moronic people had any knowledge, they would say, "Free Palestine from Hamas." At the very least, they do that.
For who? Oh, from Hamas?
But they show in my book, and I did.
They need someone there to keep an opposite
reporting the atrocities of October
argument.
7th. I was embedded with the IDF in
Gaza
as well as Lebanon.
Huh?
But the real question comes back to this thing here at home.
But the whole point is why they don't is because technically Israel. I don't understand much about what's going on there because it's very confusing. But I don't think they have a lot of.
Then of course you've got the ones who basically
backlash from Israel, like the governments and stuff, because they're technically not fighting the Palestinian people. They're fighting Hamas. But the collateral damage is the Palestinian society. That's the problem. We're not fighting Palestine. That's what he said. If they were smart, they would say free Palestine from Hamas, because we're technically fighting the terrorist group, not the country.
Well, that's the problem. That the people from Palestine, they elected Hamas to be their leaders. But I think they wanted somebody to fight Israel, because Israel was also the enemy.
Palestine.
Yeah.
Palestinians were given, but if they were given another state, they seem to believe that everything else in the region would be solved. Yemen's economy would blossom. The mullahs in Iran would give women equal rights, and everyone would be going to gay bars in Riyadh. None of that's true. None of it's true.
Gay bar.
But the bigger one is, why do they think it would improve anything here at home as well? Why, if the Palestinians get another state? These people I was trying to call out on Joe's show, they are doing things like Hitler wasn't that much of an anti-Semite. Main problem in the 20th century was Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was the warmonger. Adolf Hitler wanted peace. And I just, look, it's a matter of social hygiene. Don't feed me this shit.
Social hygiene, I like that.
If you can denigrate the tradition of Winston Churchill and pretend that Adolf Hitler wasn't so bad, because then you can do things like Christian nationalism. You can do really, really tough nationalist stuff. They basically...
You can buy a Kanye album.
That's the last stage.
Kilmar Abreu Garcia.
Oh, here we go.
Week, but people are interested, and they should be, for both humanitarian reasons and because it is sort of the crux of what our nation is going to become. His case. Thank you, one guy.
One guy.
So first, let me give you a bit of an update. He is apparently out of the bad prison, the worst prison in the world.
Oh, he moved on. He's gonna come back.
Finally did meet with the congressman. I think it's okay to deport people, but not. It's different than disappearing them and putting them in gulags. Trump was asked at a press conference, you mentioned that you're open to deporting individuals that aren't foreign aliens. or criminals to El Salvador. And he said, love it. Why, you think they're a special category of person? I'd like to say I do think they're special. They're called American. I'm one of them.
No. I think like the scumbags who hit old people in the street, they those motherfuckers to El Salvador.
He's saying violent.
Yeah, those guys.
I think I should be deported just for, because, you know,
like the guy, the recent guy, he had a bunch of tattoos on his face. He murdered like his girlfriend and then a whole bunch of other girls.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I don't know anything, but everybody thought he was so fucking good looking. Like
yeah,
that guy, like guys like that.
The Joker, he had a little Joker face.
Like
that guy. Check his ass out.
Like he was like psychotic or something.
Yeah, he was really crazy. Yeah, he had a bunch of chicks that liked him.
Yeah.
So hearing, how do you know that Bill Maher is not an illegal immigrant?
Our Constitution is quite clear that if you are a resident of this country, you deserve due process. And with other things,
resident, she said.
You deserve to have a hearing. You can't just be shipped off.
Well, you telling me you don't want to know? They don't agree with that.
Like legal resident or just a person that lives here?
Didn't do. That's why we have courts.
Well, you just say no illegal immigrant should have due process.
No, I'm thinking it's only the legal resident.
I'm telling you, everybody knows it. As long as you step foot on American soil, you got due process. That's why they try to stop Cubans from landing on, when they catch them on the boat, you turn them around, because as soon as they hit the dirt, the sand or whatever, they got due process. And they'll stay.
No, I think they have a rule. My mom told me about it.
That's what I heard. You said
no, yeah. As soon as they step land here in the U.S., they don't have due process. They have.
Oh yeah, some kind of asylum.
Yeah. Because they're coming from
a communist country.
But it's only that only applies to Cubans.
Even if he did, doesn't mean you go to the gulag. But the term that's
not even a gulag
was facilitate.
I'm assuming something.
No, I'm telling you, it's not a gulag.
Facilitate.
Oh, you know what a gulag is? It's like a slave prison in Russia. But that's not what El Salvador is.
I recommend your entire audience, including your new friends at 1600 Pennsylvania, to read this.
And your new
friends, making fun of them now.
Americans are in support of deporting criminals. Absolutely. Violent criminals, it's like 97-1. Yes, deport the violent criminals, but they're not in favor at all of the President of the United States defying the Supreme Court. It's like an 80-20 issue.
Okay, but so what? If I may address the little shot you just gave me, so fucking what, okay?
Yeah, how do they enforce it?
We're at that part of the movie where there's a gunfight, and the guy, and then click. There's no more bullets in the gun. We have no power. So how do we handle this? And Gretchen Whitmer showed us one way. Can we show that picture? Because she was in the Oval Office, same place I was a few weeks before.
She tried to hide herself. She's like a liberal senator or something like that. And she's like, she was hoping nobody would see her there trying, like, talking with Trump. Like her constituents wouldn't see her.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and she was like, she was trying to hide, hoping nobody would recognize her.
Oh my God, man.
And it like, what she did is just made it more obvious.
I didn't surrender to him. He's going to be there for another 4 years. That's a long time to hold your breath.
Well, and
it's a long time to hold the thing up in front of your face. Let me tell you.
Oh my God!
Yeah, she did it. I was like, that's fucking
stupid. Take care of the
stupid.
business of the people of Michigan.
You have to.
And that's what she did. And
Son get in his face right then and there while the cameras are on.
She's like, this is a shit show, and I want nothing to do with this. I think is what she was doing.
Well, we need a better Democrat than that.
Yes, that I agree.
You know what?
That's weak. That's so weak, man.
What's she going to do? Not that.
Speak up.
I understand why she did it, because she didn't want to be seen with Trump. Because that would make her look stupid.
I think it was good of you to go there. I would have gone there. I wouldn't be invited, but like I think Americans should go when the president invites you into the White House and do exactly that, and then report back.
Exactly.
What you saw,
That's adult.
whether that's
Yeah, they're also mad at me because I didn't. I mean, all the people who are like, "We're losing truth." Okay, I told you the truth.
Yeah.
He's different in person. Wait, should I have lied about that? We want the truth. Yeah, but when you get it and you don't like it, boo.
Yeah.
Bad truth, Bill.
Bad truth.
Life's complicated. I'm sorry I complicated your life for you.
To answer your question, though, the Supreme Court, the judiciary, does not have the power to enforce laws. They have powers to kind of inform us and tell us about it. But what happens?
That's what I'm wondering.
Eventually. And Donald Trump likes his popularity, at least a little bit. He's sensitive to his popularity, and if he's on the wrong side of repeated 80-20 issues, which he is right now, he's going to feel it. They're going to get wiped out in the picture.
Yeah, okay, I get it now.
I finished up. I have never been more afraid for America's future in my life. Totally agree again. You know who's not reading this? Trump. Or anyone in his cabinet, or anyone on that half of the whole country.
I think that one of the problems that we have as a Democratic Party is that we don't talk enough to people that disagree with us.
There you go.
Someone tried to burn down the governor of Pennsylvania's house last week with him and his family inside. So again, I would say to the people who don't want to talk, this is sort of the other way.
Did they ever find out if he was a Trumper or not?
No,
he's not.
Some of the political violence that
He's actually, I think they said it on the news.
The January 6th riot. Some people would say
everybody was hoping he was, but he's not. He's your people.
Really?
Yeah.
But the governor's Democrat. What would he?
He didn't like the governor.
The guy who shot the health.
His issue, I think, was with the governor.
Nancy, corporate sponsorship for the egg roll. Of course, Trump has to monetize everything. So we got a hold of some of the eggs that are sponsored by different corporations. Would you like to see what's going to on? For example, Tesla has one. Please don't throw this at a Cybertruck. Bank of America has asked us for a loan to buy me.
Ask for a loan to buy me.
For the eggs.
For the eggs.
For the loan to buy eggs.
Cialis. He is risen.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
What an asshole.
McDonald's has unavailable after 11 a.m.
10:30 a.m., huh?
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop sponsored one. Don't ask where this egg has been. Planned Parenthood. When you're done with this egg, we'll get rid of it for you. The Woods, my pot store in West Hollywood. Honestly, I'd rather be fried. Yes.
I want to go there. Santa Monica.
Like, I just talked to a constituent of mine in Minnesota whose business is in the toilet because of these tariffs. Like, she's not getting an exemption. She doesn't know Donald Trump. She can't walk in there and give him $1 million. And
let me make a call.
You know.
Everyone has less money because of one man, and this is not what we were supposed to be doing. Revolutions.
He was asked, how will you determine tariff exemptions? And he said, instinct.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I can't improve on the comedy. We make none of this here, except we have one place here in California, Mountain Pass. They have a rare earth mine there. It takes out of the ground in 1 year what China does in a day.
Oh my God.
And this article on Times said,
but that's why he fights with the environmentalists.
Mines, which apparently
that's why he fights with the environmentalists
because
they're not allowed
they don't allow it.
Certain,
yeah,
they need to explain that too. EPA.
It has to be that. Yeah.
It has to. Yeah, it's why they can't do the a lot of that stuff that they.
In China, they don't give a crap.
They don't give a shit.
Cutting everything ridiculously immediately, and the Democrats 29 years to build something.
Yep.
I have nothing. I have no question.
I mean, that's what people don't get. It's like what happened to the Dominican.
Okay, we have a
that's
the roof. The roof that collapsed?
Yeah. They said they were stacking layer plus layer of cement on that roof. To instead of fixing it, they were just like relayering it with more cement until eventually it gave out.
So you're saying regulation is good, like in California.
There's certain reasons why we can't do things, and people think, oh well, it's the government. Yeah, it is
for a reason.
But there's a reason because the environmentalists obviously want to save the environment,
bad stuff.
But in order to
But what
have
he
those
does
things
is
that
piss
China
everybody
has,
off, and then nobody knows what he's going to do.
it's
And
hard.
meanwhile,
Yeah.
So
China
we
has a
can
long-term
compete,
plan.
but that means we have
They
to
have
take off
they
certain
have a
regulations.
strategy
So
that they're
it's
proceeding.
hard.
And
Yeah,
here we
yeah.
are.
And they can build a mine in a rare earth mine like in a week.
Yes.
That's
That's what I'm telling you, like manufacturing. It'll take the United States so long to build factories, and China will take them a year.
Not that we don't need
Yeah,
environmental
but that's why.
reviews, but
Why do you think they're so
29
scared about the tariffs and why they're pushing, especially on TikTok, because it's still China owned? All your high end merchandises, we make it here.
Oh yeah.
Because why are they doing that? Why are they pushing that topic? Because they're afraid of getting their manufacturing taken away from China. That's their stronghold right now.
Yeah.
Once everything moved over to theirs, back in the early 90s or something, that's their income. If you look at it, there's been documentaries of how they treat their
Oh no, yeah.
Apple, where they're fucking jumping out of the buildings because they're making them work 17 hours.
Yeah.
You know.
We should be rewarding that.
That's
at the
why.
federal
So
level.
we
That's
have to
just one
think.
example. If we
I mean,
wanna
yeah,
have a
we
clean
need to
energy
get
economy
bring
and
some
it
stuff
takes us
back
forever
because
to put the
that's not fair that they're
transmission
getting
lines up
treated
and the
that way.
distribution lines to
I
get
mean,
power, where people
it's
need it,
all
then
very-
we're
it's
never
just
gonna
very-
accomplish
I know,
it.
it's like
We've gotta fix this.
stuck in the middle kind of thing.
The people who are getting the big crowds right now are AOC and Bernie Sanders. They're going around the country. Thank you, there's that same guy.
That one guy.
I call him the always wrong guy. I think it's because I think Bernie showed up at Coachella. That must have been
Really?
fun.
Yeah, he was
did.
It's who shows up on election day.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that's the ticket. I mean, Cory Booker, I know you've worked with him. I like Cory a lot from my home state.
The 24-hour
He
guy.
made a speech for 25 hours.
25. Oh god.
Just whacking each other off. This is just not what's going to get the job done.
So, over 400 million people paid attention to what Cory was doing when he stood on the floor of the United States Senate. I'm not saying
400 million?
400 million
Wow,
people.
that's amazing if the country only has 350.
400 million. Sorry, 400 million views.
What you're wearing reminds me a lot of what the ladies on the Blue Origin wore this week. What did you think about that, and what did you think about all the backlash it
I
got?
mean, you got to be really, really, really rich to spend that amount of money shooting your wife into space.
You heard about what Wendy did?
Yeah, send her back.
Send her back
But to who?
to the singer, whatever, Katy Perry.
I mean, all right. I mean, with all the money we waste on so many things, it just seems to me like people just want to bitch. I mean, so the ladies had a nice day with the
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
A nice day where they can do it. Yeah.
Oh, where they could be weightless.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's true. Like, what the fuck?
it's time for
No.
Athletes have to work on maintaining a difference between their let's go face and their I just got kicked in the nuts face. I can't tell if you're overjoyed or you're in agony. It's like watching a Trump supporter looking at their stock portfolio. Someone must tell the woman who claims to have gaslit herself into losing 40 pounds. That's not what gaslighting means. You just learned to tell yourself, put down the cupcake, bitch.
Oh my god, the nipple.
Who?
It's a nipple.
Oh, yeah.
And especially this guy.
Oh my god. See that guy, he's like, oh.
What is wrong with people?
What?
Now that Lebanon has announced it's banning Snow White because it stars Gal Gadot, who is a sergeant in the Israeli Defense Force, someone has to tell them, you're working too hard. No one's going to see that movie anyway. And finally, now that the Trump administration has decided that America will pay any price and bear any burden to bring back factory jobs, they have to answer one question. Who's going to take them?
Oh, remember I told you?
Who exactly is supposed to do all this monotonous, low-paying labor? Immigrants? They're all deported. It'll probably be robots if we're not using them all for sex slaves. But I'll tell you who's definitely not doing it. Gen Z.
Yep. The guy on the right, you see that?
I know.
Is this who we really think Gen Z is? A generation
Somebody left.
manly men men who make things with their hands, who get up early and go out to the plant in their hard hats with their lunch pails and come home dirty. Seriously, these kids can't handle a gig at the Cheesecake Factory.
Right away, they get upset, they start recording.
Yep.
They're quiet quitting office jobs. If you walk into a department store and ask them for something, they act like you barged into their apartment and woke them up. They're doughy gamers who need an emotional support animal to ride in a plane.
Doughy.
How will they survive working elbow to elbow with people who don't share their beliefs on everything? If you're on an assembly line, if one person drops the ball, Lucy has to eat all the chocolate. And when someone falls into the liquid plaster vat, he'll die because it'll just be everybody videotaping it.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Trump and his MAGA crowd has this testosterone-drenched delusion that America will only return to its glory days when men, real men, burly, brawny, manly men go back to work in red brick factories and have cigarettes for lunch on top of skyscrapers.
Cigarettes for lunch.
Okay, but it's 2025 and being masculine is a hate crime now. 7 million men in the prime of their life who are neither working nor looking for work, which is more than 4 times what it was back in the day. No cap.
No cap.
Unemployed people are looking for work. MILFs are not. They're what we used to call deadbeats. I know the Trump crowd imagines a gleaming new factory created by high tariffs and thinks if you build it, they will come. They won't. They're playing Minecraft. Went viral a couple of years ago when the idea of returning to a military draft had been floated.
Why is everybody saying Gen Z is going to get drafted? Like, no, the fuck we're not. And you know why I know that? Because we're just going to say no. Like, how are they going to actually force us to get up and go to work? And we're also, like, really mentally ill. I have, like, 6 of these.
Ooh.
But I think that has a lot to do with how they were raised.
Yeah.
I think it's when parents don't want to see it like that. You don't push you. Parents want to be influencers. See, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Videotaping yourself eating food in your car.
I love it.
But I mean that's fine. But you also have to have like a backup.
Yeah, hell yeah.